will be talking to Lama Yeshe ji, who has very kindly agreed to do this interview and a short creative visualization on hope for us. Lamaji is from the Kagyu Buddhist tradition, and he's originally from the UK, but now he lives in northern India. Thank you very much, Lamaji, for coming to Cope with Hope and agreeing for this interview.
You're welcome. It's nice to be here.
Yes. So, Lama Yeshe ji, will you tell me a little bit about what you think this time offers us as human beings, and how best we can use this time for inner growth and to connect with who we truly are?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of lessons to learn from this time. So, we love control, and we love to think we're in control of our life and we plan everything. And now we realize that, okay, maybe we're not in control. So you look, a little virus, we can't even see it. And it made us all run into our houses and lock our doors and windows. And yet we think that we have this impression that we're the most important creature on the whole of the planet. So I think that's one lesson that we need to learn, that we can't be fully in control of our lives. We have choices, and there's no doubt we can have a choice to do this or a choice to do that, and it will take us down different paths. But it doesn't mean that just because we have a choice or we have a wish or we plan for something to happen, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. There's 7 billion people on the planet, and we all are interconnected. So what other people do will affect me, what I do will affect them. So I think one of the lessons to learn here is that we're not fully in control of our lives, and we are part of the whole thing. It's not, we get this impression the whole world revolves around me, and it's what I think and what I want and what I do. But I think that lesson we've learned quite clearly now, that life is not like that. Also, I think another lesson that we should be learning is that everything is impermanent and everything is just changing. Again, we like to hold on to things. We like to think things are permanent. We like to think we're permanent. Our family, our friends, our belongings, everything is permanent, and we get attached to these things. But I think also this time we've gone through is teaching us that life is not permanent. So everything is like a flowing river. So everything's changing moment by moment. And so if we try to hold on to one moment, then it's impossible. And we cause ourselves so much suffering because we're holding on to something. So what we're trying to do is find permanent happiness in an impermanent world. It's not possible. So I think there's two great lessons for us to learn there, that life doesn't need us to unfold. It will unfold nicely on its own. So we shouldn't try to control everything. And life is like a flowing river, and we shouldn't try to hold on to everything because things are impermanent. If we can learn those two lessons, there's such a huge lessons for us to learn, because by learning those lessons, it reduces our suffering. And it will reduce and I mean here I'm talking about emotional and psychological suffering. And it will reduce the suffering of everybody around you. So I think that is the key for this time, is to try to learn these lessons. Many people are running inside their doors, they're anxious, they're fearful, they're stressed. I mean, all that is understandable, but that shouldn't be what you've learned from this period of lockdown. Because, we already know how to be anxious, concerned and worried and fearful. We need to be learning new ways to live. One of my major fears is that, people are learning new things and doing new things, and that's wonderful. But the governments are trying to push, governments all over the world, trying to push everybody back to normal, back to normal. It was normal that got us here. We really don't need to be going back to the old normal. We now need a new normal. And my fear is that You know, people are going to be pushed into doing exactly what we were doing before. If they do, we will end up here again. So we need to really reflect on this time and what did I do? You know, I mean, we all have a role to play in what's happened. So what was my role? How can I change? For me, I saw that I traveled too much. And now I've been spending the last 3 months doing every day online. Nothing wrong with that. And yet I was traveling here and, you know, long days of traveling, big flights, Canada, UK. I spent time in Nepal, Bhutan, just travel, travel, travel. And yet I can just sit here in my room, go online, and I can just do exactly the same. So for me, that's the lesson that I've learned from this time.
That's lovely, Yesheji. I love what you said about we're not in control. Don't just cling on to things. And we have to learn a new way of living and not go back to what we were and who we were. Yesheji, will you tell us a bit about what you think hope is and then lead us into a visualization on hope?
Yeah, so I think for me, there's two aspects of hope. One is a realistic hope and one is an unrealistic hope. So we have to be careful that we don't go down the road of unrealistic hope. So, for an example, you know, you're having the hope that you're going to win 500 crore rupee lottery, but you don't do the lottery. It's unrealistic. So that unrealistic hope is a fear because it can take us down the wrong path and it can make us more depressed, more anxious, more fearful and worried because we're not reaching this unrealistic goal we set ourselves. But the more positive side of hope, it's like an optimistic way of looking at life. It may be dark. We may be going through difficult times, but I feel optimistic that we're going to get through this. And I feel optimistic and positive that we'll get to the end of this. And when we get to the end of this, we would have survived, we would have grown, we would have changed. So for me, that's the way that I see hope, in a way that, you know, it's more optimistic. So it has to be realistic. There's no doubt about that. But it involves getting things done. So hope doesn't mean sitting and just waiting for something to happen. Hope means, yeah, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to do it. So for me, it has optimism, it has positivity, it has drive, it has get up and go. I mean, that's what hope is. And a dangerous side is when people lose their hope, when people don't have hope. It's very sad if you see a group of people who have lost their hope. And I think, you know, if you look now what's happening in America with the rioting and everything, it's because people have lost hope. They've lost hope in the system. They've lost hope that people are going to help them. So we need hope in life. So hope is not just a pleasant little thing. It shouldn't be just looked upon as just a simple little four-letter word, because it is such a powerful thing and it is something that we all need in our lives. We all need hope to move us forward, to keep us going and to keep us moving. So for me, that's what I would say hope is.
Thank you very much, Yeshiji. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell us? Give us some last words of wisdom.
Yeah, I think really that I would just say to you that for everybody just to be themselves, don't try to be somebody that you're not. You see a lot now that people are very self-centered and they're trying to be everything to everybody. We live in this reality TV world these days. And I think really that if you want to find true happiness, you have to be who you are. You have to be yourself. And the only way to truly find yourself is to sit in meditation and look at yourself, go inside, look, see what makes me tick. You know, who am I? Why am I? Why do I think like this? What do I need to change? How can I change? Ask ourselves all these questions, become the best possible person we can be. And if every morning we wake up and that is our intention, to be better than we were yesterday, then what a wonderful life you will lead, and what a wonderful life everybody around you will also lead.
Yes, Lamaji. Wow. Be the best person that I can possibly be. That's amazing. It really, I just hear those words and I feel, yeah, it's lovely. Thank you. May that
You're
be
welcome.
our morning mantra.
Yes, yes, certainly. Certainly your morning intention.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Lamaji. Thank you so much
Okay.
for this.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.